Hey, it's Jennifer, and today I want to talk about how to build a resistance training workout program. So, a lot of people feel overwhelmed when choosing what to do because there's like a million workout moves out there, and which exercise do you choose? So, a couple rules of thumb. If your goal is resistance training like 2 to 3 times a week, that's a pretty common goal for a lot of people. I don't think that you need to break it up into like an arm day and a leg day. If you're just hitting things 2 or 3 times a week, your body has plenty of time to recover between workout days. So I would recommend more of a full body approach each time you hit the resistance training. That being said, that like opens up even more potential exercises for each workout. How do you choose? I like to organize it into categories. So let's start with the lower body. We're going to have two different categories of movement. One is a squat. So an example of a squat is a squat. Duh. So the squat has lots of knee movement, and you're kind of getting low to the ground and then pushing yourself away. So in the squat category, there's other variations of squats. So a lunge would also be a squat because you're doing kind of the same thing with your leg. Doing like step ups would be an example of a squat. So anything where your legs are doing a squatting motion, put that in your squat category. The other category of leg movement that I would recommend, or lower body movement, is a hinge. So that's going to be more focused at the hip, and you're going to send your hips back and get this hinging motion happening at the hip. Knees don't necessarily need to do as much. So examples of hinges would be like an RDL. So basically that same movement I just showed you. A deadlift is very similar, but you're starting from the floor. You do get a little knee bend here, but the focus is on those hips coming back. Deadlifts. Lots of people like to do single leg RDLs. Or you can flip it over onto your back and do something like a bridge or a hip thrust. Another hinge would be something like a kettlebell swing. So again, you've got the hips going back and you're working on a hinge with a little bit of speed component there. So some sort of squat, some sort of hinge, you've got your lower body pretty well covered. Now let's talk about the upper body. So the two categories for the upper body that I'd like to talk about today are a push. So that could be a horizontal push, like a push-up or a bench press or a chest press, or an overhead, like vertical push. So an overhead press, something like that. So that's your push. And then your pull would be the other category of upper body movement. That's a little bit harder to do with a home gym setup unless you have like a pull-up bar or something, overhead. So an example of a pull would be like a pull-up, obviously. A row is a really good pull that's a little easier to do at home. So you could do like a bent over row, like so. If you've got a band that's anchored kind of in the door, you can do upright rows like so, or you could hook it higher over the door and do like a pull down like so. But anything where you're like pulling towards your body, that's a pull. So really, you just need to choose 4 different exercises, one from each category, and you've got a pretty well-rounded workout. So a squat, a hinge, a push, and a pull. That's how I would recommend structuring your resistance training, and just change up either the exercise you choose or like how heavy it is versus how many reps you're doing for each workout. So you're getting a good variety of stimuli on your tissues. And I think if you can follow that advice, it makes it a little less daunting to try to choose what exactly you're doing. Or another easy way to figure out what workout you want to do is find something that's already put together and then just tweak it to follow these recommendations that I just shared with you. So hope that helps if you're thinking about kind of getting more into resistance training, and you should. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.